second.
Oh my God, really soon.
All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. I call this meeting to order of the Swampscott School Committee regular meeting agenda for Thursday, February 5th, 2026. It is 6 o'clock. We are at Swampscott High School, 200 Essex Street in Swampscott, room B129. And I call the meeting to order. If you are so able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank everyone for coming tonight. We have a rather lengthy agenda. So if there is any public comment, I will say we're going to keep it to 15 minutes, please, 3 minutes per person. And is there any public comment in the gallery here? Okay. Are we sure? Okay. Any public comment online? I see none. Then we will dispense with public comment and go to committee comment. Sasha, start us off.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I would say the school season has been pretty busy. All winter sports are ending. This is why Leah couldn't make it, because they have their last meet today. The boys basketball team made the playoffs. Other than that, I have good news for our Big Blue News class. We have State Senator Brendan Crichton coming to interview we're interviewing him.
Wow.
Other than that, no other updates really.
Wow, that's very cool. All right, thank you.
What's he being interviewed for?
Oh, Big Blue News.
Oh, Big Blue News. Oh, that's so fun. I don't have any comments.
Okay, John?
Looking forward to the discussion tonight, and go Pats, but I'll kick it back to you.
All right. As was discussed, Leah is at a track meet. Miguel?
Looking forward to tonight's discussion. I've chatted with a few parents out on the street, that's because they've noticed me. And that's it.
Okay. I have actually, I'll wait on mine. There's really nothing to add. Next, we're going to just go to school committee chair, and really the one thing I want to talk about is something that we all have talked about for a while, and that is discussion on legal counsel for the school committee and the school district. We've used Copeland and Page for as long as I have been a school committee member, and I think I can speak for everybody that we're very happy with them. Oops, sorry. But I know Ms. Angelakis had asked, and it's always good to take a look around, especially just to be brutally honest. Copeland and Page also is the attorneys at record for the town. Not that that is a problem that we've ever run into. There was one occasion that we just had to agree to acknowledge that Copeland and Page was on both sides. But I think it's a good idea just to kind of take a look around, and that's just my thoughts. Does anyone have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think that makes sense, and we may end up back in the same spot we are now.
Right.
But I think having the discussion and hearing some alternative viewpoints might be helpful to the process and inform, where we end up landing on this thing.
Great.
I'm confused. Is this different from the discussion we've already had in our workshop that we decided this was one of our goals?
Well, I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Wasn't this one of our goals in our workshop?
Yeah.
Didn't someone take the assignment? Like, John, didn't you take the
No,
assignment?
you know what? I think it was Amy.
It was Amy.
It was Amy.
Oh.
Yeah. So, since Amy no longer here.
Like, I just remember we made it one of our committee
right.
goals for the year.
Yeah, and I think it fell off with Amy, and so I think it's something we need to do, as long as everyone's amenable to that. Miguel, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, definitely open to it, since, as Suzanne said, it was one of our goals for this year, so hopefully we can check that off.
Okay. Then could I ask Superintendent, maybe do a little research, and Ms. Stella, and your background, to just do a little research and see if we can come up with a couple firms that we can interview and Again, it's not dire. I think we're all happy with Copeland and Page, but I think it's our responsibility to take a look when, it's been a while. I think it's a good thing to do. Great, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Other than that, I don't have any other comments. I'm in a good mood, no hissy fits from me, so I'm happy. All right, Superintendent.
All right, thank you. We're going to start with a field trip. The ADL Club is headed to New York City for the Never Is Now convention. I think this is the third year that they're going. Our hope is to bring students committed to ADL's values to the largest youth summit on combating hate. The convention has students come together with youth from around the globe, meeting world leaders to gain knowledge and experience on how to fight back against hate in their communities. The cost is about $200 a student, although we obviously, anybody that wants to go will figure it out. This is a great opportunity for students to participate in conversations, workshops, and programming that's student-centered and with a focus on experiential learning. And then when students come back, hopefully they have the tools to improve our school culture, and students will present their learned knowledge to the faculty when they come back from New York. And again, Ms. McDonald and Ms. Woodfin are hoping to go for the third year.
Okay. Any thoughts, questions from anybody?
I wish all the people on Amtrak good luck.
Sorry, Superintendent, how many students were you thinking were going?
Great question.
I think it says approximately 45.
45? Okay. Thank you.
This is saying approximately 8 to 16,
Oh, okay.
so,
Oh, yeah. I was looking there.
yep. Between 8 and 16, grade 12 students.
Okay. Obviously, if it gets to, more than, 20, then we'll have to add another chaperone. Do you want us to vote on this, or you want us to vote on it later? How would you like to do it?
We have you down for later on.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any thoughts and comments about this? I don't either. Okay. All right.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now it's my turn.
Yes.
All right, so today, a couple things go on. We have 2 public hearings, everybody. The first is a public hearing on school choice, and then the second is a public hearing on school budget. So there's a lot of rules, regulations, how we have to do this, so please bear with me. We're gonna open the public hearing on school choice. Can someone please make a motion to open the public hearing on school choice?
Make them
Someone second, please.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience, both online and in attendance here, who would like to make a public comment on this particular subject? Anyone online? Can someone look? Okay. Discussions or presentations by you, the superintendent, about this?
I do not think we should venture into the school choice.
Okay, if memory serves, we have never actually gone down this road before. I'm good with that. Does anyone have any, on the school committee, any thoughts, any comments about this? Okay, can someone make a motion then to close the school choice public hearing?
Wait, do we have to vote first?
No, you close first and then have a vote. I know,
Oh.
I asked that too.
Yeah.
So can someone make a motion to close the school
make a
choice
motion.
public hearing? Can someone second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and there's no opposed, so the meeting on school choice is closed. Now, will someone make a motion to not participate in school choice for the 2026-2027 school year?
So moved.
Someone second?
Second.
Okay, we have to do a roll call vote. Miguel?
Yes.
Okay, John?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes?
Glenn, yes, it passes unanimous. We will, the school district will not participate in school choice for the 2026-27 school year. Okay, thank you for that, and we have now dispensed with the public hearing on school choice. Oh, I need this too. Okay. Now for the one that I'm sure is gonna have a little bit more discussion about. Okay. We will now have a public hearing on the school budget for FY27. Can someone please make a motion to open the school budget public hearing?
make a motion to open the public hearing.
Someone second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, there is none. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience, both at home, online, or in the building here, who wishes to make a public comment on this particular subject? All right, there's no one in the room that wants to make a comment on the subject. Is there anyone online who would like to make a comment?
No one's got their hand raised.
Okay. So now discussion, presentation by the superintendent, by Ms. Stella, by whoever would like to make a presentation.
So just as a reminder to the committee and the public, 2 weeks ago, we presented the school budget for FY27. It's an increase of 3.96 or $1.35 million overall.
Just so everybody's aware, on Wednesday morning, I had my board of directors meeting with the Northeast Educational Consortium, and they told us then that they were off with their projections, and they're looking at a possible double-digit increase in fees for next year. It's due to low enrollment, which we talked about last week, about low enrollment across the whole state, transportation costs, and they have some very expensive capital projects that are happening. So again, they were off with their projections, and that could impact our budget, and we did not know this at the time we presented last week.
If I remember correctly, that in the past, the increase has been as high as 14%.
Yeah.
Private school only, not consortium, not that high. It was 8%
Okay.
at one point for one of their capital projects, but I don't think we were anticipating it would be double digits this. We were kind of, we budgeted in this budget, we were presented, which is what they are anticipating. Sorry. That's what they're anticipating, the private schools.
Right.
OSD has come out and saying that's what we're anticipating the private school
Yeah.
tuition will go up by. We usually, the collaborative follows similarly to private, but now it's going to be higher.
Okay. Great, thank you for that piece of news.
And then the only other information that we have received recently is the preliminary state aid. The governor has filed her budget, so I thought it might be helpful just to share with everyone where we land with the anticipated net state aid increase for Swampscott, and then again with our comparable districts that we utilized during bargaining. Obviously, this still has a ways to go through the state budget process, but this is right now what we are anticipating, about $382,000 as an increase to the town overall for net school state aid, which is great news. Especially as you look at some of our peer communities, some of them overall actually are having a decrease because their assessments are going up so high, and some are having just a nominal increase. So this is really positive news for the town and the schools as we look towards another difficult fiscal year for the town, that our current preliminary numbers are almost $400,000 increase.
That's fantastic.
Do we have a budget note? Do we have a placeholder for that?
I don't know what the town has for a placeholder.
No.
I think typically they level fund at this stage and then make adjustments later on. But we don't know what they have at this point. And that's it. That's all my
Great.
update on the budget.
Okay. Questions, thoughts, Miguel?
Is there anything new from the state that's causing it for us to get a little bit more than normal?
It's actually our
Is that what you're
assessments
saying?
that are going down
Okay.
Yes, what's
significantly.
new that's made the assessments go.
Yeah, so, two things. One, the minimum aid, the governor is increased to 75 per pupil, which is higher than it has been, but it's really on the assessment side that we saw a large decrease, and that's a direct result of, students not being in charter schools or choicing out.
Anything else, Miguel?
No.
John?
Why don't we go to Suzanne and come back to me?
Suzanne?
So thanks, Cheryl, because I know I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I watched the meeting and then obviously looked through the budget and the presentation, and I feel so confident that these numbers, they're so, I hate the word transparent, but it's really easy for me to follow how the numbers are getting to the different line items. And I look forward to discussing this further with the town and the finance committee, but, I mean, I don't have questions. I don't question where the money is being spent. I think the priorities that we've set as a school committee are reflected in this budget for sure, and the same as the priorities with the school. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a little nervous about that. I'm a little nervous about that assessment from the collaborative, but then I think that if the money coming in from the state's a little higher than usual, that's a positive. And I know Healy's budget is pretty generous for education, so, you know, maybe there'll be more, because what was just released today was pretty unbelievable.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows what will pass, but, I mean, that was all good news. So I don't have any individual questions about the budget. I think
Great.
solid.
Thank you. Sasha, any questions?
No questions yet.
Great. So for me, I just want to publicly thank Ms. Stella, Ms. Raymond, Superintendent, and the rest of the staff who have worked on this for a while. I know we have gone through line by line and looked where changes could be made or efficiencies could be made. I am, like Suzanne, I'm incredibly comfortable where we landed. I am ecstatic that we kept it under 4%. I think we have done an amazing job considering what's going on in some of our contemporary towns around us. And I'm very pleased and proud of this budget. And I am beyond hopeful that these numbers will carry through to town meeting. And with that, does anyone else have any last-minute questions?
So just to add on.
John, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I just need another sip of coffee. You mentioned efficiencies, which I agree with, that, you know, the team, the superintendent and Ms. Stella and the team have done a great job looking for those. I agree. This is not a budget with excesses in it. And I think the other point that was emphasized at the last meeting was there's a lot of, I don't know if structural is the right word, but structural cost driving the increases that, you know, kind of, you know, out of our hands. It's just, you know, special ed or energy costs, new contracts, things like that, no matter what you do, those costs are going to be increasing no matter what. So I think it's important just to highlight that those are, even with all of that, you know, we've come in where we think, you know, we need to be. So just want to add that.
Great, thank you very much. All right, then with that.
I was just going to say, do you think it's
I'm
worth,
sorry.
I was just going to say, sorry, that I think it's worth just running through some of the towns that we listed
Sure, go ahead.
2 weeks ago. Just
Yeah.
So Linfield came in at 4.9%. The select board said 3.7. School committee said they won't go below 4.3. We have Saugus at 7.8%, Stoneham at 16.6%, Hopkinton at 5.84%, Hamilton Wenham at 5.91%, Manchester Essex at 7.40%, Salem at 4.85 to 5, and most recently North Andover at 4.05. So I am so proud and thankful for the work that Ms. Steller and the whole team did, that we're still growing the district and moving forward in a smart manner that's mindful of every single tax dollar that's being spent and invested in our kids, and we came in at 3.96%.
Great.
Can I respond to what you just said? I've heard some comments from people saying, you know, that's them, but this is, like, why are we comparing ourselves? Why are we comparing ourselves to other districts? You know, just, I think we just need to remind people that we compare ourselves to other districts because we've chosen, for bargaining reasons and for educational reasons, to find comparable districts and people that are doing similar things that we're doing. And I think it's important, that people understand, we're not just willy-nilly picking communities, that we've really sat down with the union and thought about districts that are comparable salaries, comparable sort of contracts and things like that, so that we're comparing ourselves to like communities. And it's great that we're lower than all of them, but even without comparing to them, it's great that we're as low as we are, even when we don't compare ourselves to anyone else. Like, it's really says a lot about the fiscal responsibility. So I just wanted to say that, because I know people have been like, stop comparing us. But just wanted to say why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will second that, since there are definitely the times where people are like, well, how do we compare to other places? But then we have the moments where it's like, well, why are we comparing?
Right, but I think it's important too, like the places we're comparing ourselves to are
As close as they can.
Close to possible,
Yeah.
like us.
Right, that's a great point. Thank you, Suzanne. Okay. Can someone please make a motion to close the school budget public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Someone second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, we are going to vote on the budget. We go line, cost center by cost center, and then we vote on the final budget. These votes will be roll call. So can someone please make a motion to vote on cost center administration for $1,784,207?
I'll make the motion.
Someone second, please.
Second.
Okay, Miguel,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes?
John,
Yes.
Glenn, yes, it is unanimous.
But I'll just make the motion to approve the district-wide cost center for $1,794,058,000.
$58.
Did I say that?
$58.
Close enough.
1.794058.
Okay. Can someone second that
Sorry.
motion, please?
Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Miguel,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes.
and Glenn is yes, it is unanimous. All right, you want to try another one?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the general education cost center for $17,416,963.
Okay, someone second, please.
Second.
Okay, Miguel,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yep.
Glenn, yes, that also passes unanimously. You're on a roll, keep going.
I will make a motion to approve the school facilities line cost center for $2,856,634.
Okay, and someone second, please.
Second.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yep.
Miguel,
Yes.
I'm a yes as well, that passes unanimously.
And I will finally make a motion to approve the special education cost center for $11,632,150.
Right, someone second, please.
Second.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes?
Miguel,
Yes.
Glenn, yes, it is unanimous. Finish it up there, Suzanne.
So I'll make a motion to approve the total FY '27 budget for $35,484,011.
12. Right, I have
12?
12 on that? 354844012.
Oh.
Yeah, it rounds to 012.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's okay,
$35,484,012.
great, thank you. Someone second, please.
Second.
All right, John,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Glenn, yes, it is unanimous. We have approved the school budget for FY '27, $35,484,012. Thank you, everybody. Yes, we should. Great work, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Back to my thing here. Mr. Casper, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Glenn. First thing I'll be presenting tonight is the renewal of the use and occupancy agreement for Big Blue Bargains at the Clark School. They had a successful year last year occupying the portables. There is a slight change in the agreement this year that I did want to point out. In addition to the portables, they will also be occupying a few classrooms on the second floor of the main Clark building. If you recall, the school had retained some classrooms on the second floor, and Big Blue will be occupying those classrooms and running the thrift store out of the main building as well. So we have worked with town council through this process and negotiated this agreement with Big Blue Bargains, and I'm happy to answer any questions, and we will be looking for a vote to execute this use and occupancy agreement.
Okay, Miguel,
For questions?
any questions, any comments, any thoughts?
I'd say that they have been really using the space very well and definitely have been enjoying everything that they've been doing throughout the town as well. So I have no issues with this at all.
Hey, Max,
Yes,
you say they're gonna be selling out of those classrooms?
yes.
How is that working? Like, people are gonna have access to go into the school through that,
Through the Norfolk side only, yep.
and then is it gonna be locked to keep people from going down the stairs there or into other areas of the school?
Well, we need to be careful about locking certain doors just with egress,
Yeah.
but there is like a very clear demarcation. This has all been coordinated very closely with the recreation department, and everybody's very comfortable
I'm
with
not really
the
thinking about the
situation.
recreation department, I'm thinking like liability. Just like for people wandering past those two classrooms or in other directions than those two classrooms.
Yeah, we can't lock the doors. You just can't because of egress. The insurance is captured in here. We are insured. Council is aware of it, and I think it's just part of the situation.
So that was actually my exact question too, just access beyond those two classrooms into the rest of the building. Do we have any, I don't know if that part of the building has any internal security cameras or anything like that? Probably not, right?
No, there's no internal security cameras at Clark.
Okay.
That's my concern too, actually, is, I know we have insurance, or the town has insurance, or we have insurance since we still own the building, the school district, but it's not the most secure building in the world, and it's old, and have folks walking through there. The legal counsel was comfortable with all this?
Yep, we've discussed it with them at length. I mean, we have concerns with similar concerns in our occupied buildings and deal with situations often with, spaces that are way more sensitive, that we try and manage with much heavier load. I don't think that, relatively the concern here is even close to like what we deal with here at the high school or at the middle school with people visiting those buildings, and they're not necessarily always staffed with security. I think that's why it's important to coordinate with recreation, because they are the ones in those other spaces. And Big Blue Bargains is a staffed place. It's not like people just come in to an unoccupied area and have free reign. And I'll also point out that, one point in time, they occupied a room at the middle school. And, there was, I think there was a similar concern, but, I don't think they had many issues there.
What's the liability for the school district here?
What do you mean by that?
So, someone slips and falls, there is an incident and whatever, like what is the liability to the district? Because technically the district owns the building.
I think
Yep.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
I was just thinking it's probably the same as the portable for that kind of stuff. I was just thinking more like someone getting in there and staying in there, you know, squatting somewhere or doing something in one of those upstairs classrooms that aren't being used. But, I mean, is recreation in there during the, are they housed there now, like as a?
No, they're not housed there. They just have.
Yeah, I know, I was more thinking like someone, you know, literally squatting, like getting in there and being able to sort of stay in there a little bit. Or something like that. I wasn't really thinking about damage, because I know it's gotta be the same as, you know, the portable. But I don't know, is there anything in the MOU about staffing? Like, will there be designated one staff for each room there?
There's not any language like that.
I just think like we should, I mean, I'm fine with this. I think they should have more space. God knows they have tons of stuff, and at the very least, they should have space for storage for off-season stuff. But I think that we should really talk about maybe having a staff in both rooms or something, so that, you know, you can keep an eye on people like buying stuff and then walking out instead of walking anywhere else. I don't know, I mean, I know it's hard for them to staff anyway, so it's like I hate to put another volunteer pressure on them, but I think that maybe, I mean, I think this is all fine, but maybe we could figure out some way that they're kind of keeping an eye on that stuff.
Sure.
Max, you said, I'm paraphrasing, but you said something about the recreation department, or the recreation activities really don't impact any of this? Is it something like that, right? Are they different hours? Is that why? So there's no rec activities going on when this thing would be open, or?
No, not quite. Again, everything has been coordinated with rec. There may be times when there's rec activities. I think rec is working with Big Blue Bargains just to make sure, like, if they have a certain type of, like a yoga class, like they're coordinating the schedules to make sure there's not interference. But they're really operating in very distinct areas of the building. Rec is predominantly on the first floor, and this is like one side of the second floor.
Okay, yeah, I guess for me, it's, you know, I take Suzanne's point about someone just getting in and, you know, squatting or doing, you know, whatever, or wandering around, but, you know, for me, it's that plus, you know, a safety concern. You know, again, there's rec activities going on and someone does start wandering through, is that a concern? So that's, and maybe, I don't know, you tell me if it's a misplaced concern, but that's kind of where my head is at thinking about this.
I mean, I guess I don't really share the concern, just like understanding what's happening in all of our buildings every day, and like the level of activity and the different uses and the different sensitive areas, and looking at this like comparatively to that. I just don't share those concerns. I mean, the liability component of it, we have worked through at length with council to make sure that was appropriately covered. I mean, there's always liability. There's liability everywhere, especially these days. But, you know, we've appropriately managed that. And I mean, this risk of someone being in the building, like that's a risk at any building, and actually almost more so with vacant buildings. We've had tremendous amount of trouble at Hadley. It was unoccupied. If anything, I feel like the more activity we have at Clark, the less risk we have of sort of unintended uses of the spaces. So, I mean, I appreciate the conversation, but ultimately I don't really share the concern.
I would also say that what's the difference between people dropping off at rec and just sort of, I mean, nothing's happened yet, knock on wood, but it's the same issue, right? I mean, people could follow somebody into the rec department, then go upstairs. So I agree with you that more people in the building being occupied is a good thing. This is my 2 cents.
I am a little torn by this. You know, I think Big Blue Bargains is a great thing. I don't want to hamstring them, as Suzanne said, at all. At the same time, you know, I would hope that if they can get some more volunteers to keep an eye on the folks walking through those 2 rooms, I think that would certainly be a positive. But I don't want to hold this up at all, but you know, hopefully, Max, you can kind of hear our concern for, you know, it's the district, it's the taxpayer. So that's kind of where this is all coming from. But I will accept a motion to.
I think, can I just say something before we vote?
Go ahead.
I think that if this is something we renew every year.
We renew every year, and it is an occupancy agreement, and it's fully
Yeah,
revocable too.
so if, I mean, I feel like comfortable, like if we're renewing this every year and there's an issue, I mean, God forbid it's not something horrific.
Right.
But, you know, they have, you know, we don't have to renew it, we don't have to give them the license if they can't.
Okay.
I don't know, be safe or be good stewards, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
I mean, Max's points are all well taken, he's right about
Okay.
occupancy, but
Right, great.
just.
All right, so with that, can someone please make a motion to approve the use and occupancy agreement with Big Blue Bargains?
I'll make the motion.
Someone second, please.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Vote is 3-1. It passes. Thank you, Max.
Thank you very much. I'm sure
Well-
they'll be very, very excited. I know they are very excited about the
Great.
opportunity.
Great. Again, I would just would ask you to just pass on our concern.
Oh, yes, certainly. I'm sure
And
they're,
again, it's not a
I'm sure they're
concern
watching.
with Big Blue Bargains itself, it's just we're the stewards of the taxpayers' building.
Absolutely.
All right. Part B, I'll turn it over to you, Superintendent.
Yeah. So Max and I have been discussing sort of and with Ms. Stella and Ms. Mackie Knowles about the process for the SOI and the issues ongoing at the middle school, what the plan is there. Statement of interest, sorry. So the window for the statement of interest goes from now until April, and we really need to get sort of an idea of where the board falls and what your opinions are before we start all the work that goes along with the statement of interest. And the idea is that if you're interested, then we would head to select board to see if they would like to move forward and then go from there.
So again, just to remind everybody, we're talking about the statement of interest for repairs or new building at the middle school.
So they'll decide that.
Okay,
They'll decide that. There is a bigger reimbursement, right, Max, if for renovation versus a new build, because I believe they're running out of places to put buildings, and it's just the landfills.
Right.
So I think they prefer a renovation, and you get a bigger reimbursement, but that's for them to decide.
Max?
I do have a presentation.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to be sharing here.
Those windows.
Okay, just a brief presentation, just walking through the statement of interest process, some discussion about the conditions at the middle school and, you know, the different scenarios that we are looking at. So thank you for listening. So what is a SOI? What is a statement of interest? It really is the first step in entering MSBA, which is Massachusetts School Building Authority's core program. And that program funds major renovations, additions, and new construction for K through 12 schools in Massachusetts. We are familiar with this process. We just completed a core program school at the elementary school. That was an extremely successful project, and we're excited of the prospect of maybe getting back into the mix. What this statement of interest really is all about, it allows districts to inform the MSBA of deficiencies that may exist in a local school facility and how those deficiencies inhibit the delivery of the district's educational program. So it's basically us supplying information about a school that we think is in need of work. And that's really like, it starts it all. Like, this is the middle school, these are the information we have on the middle school, the conditions of the different systems and areas, the problems we have, the challenges we have, and that gets compiled in a statement of interest, which is it's a form that we fill out, question after question. It's not a document that we create out of the blue. It's not a extremely big lift. It's a fairly straightforward submission. We're going to put some work into it and be very thorough and answer all the questions as best we can. But they've intentionally made it so that it's not a huge hurdle to submit these. That they want these to be submitted for places that need them, and they're not creating a massive hurdle at the beginning. One important note, and Jason mentioned this, but it should be reiterated, the submission of a statement of interest must be approved by a vote of the school committee and the select board in our instance. We cannot submit a statement of interest without an approval from both boards. So we put together a little bit of timeline of the process, and I think this helps sort of lay out the initial stages to an MSBA project and a statement of interest. The statement of interest period opened in January 12th. February, March of this year when the statement of interest would be prepared. We've already started doing that at a preliminary level, but as the superintendent mentioned, we kind of want to get a sense of where we are and whether or not we're going to continue to put significant effort into putting that together. March 2026 is when we would be planning for the actual local authorization votes, probably early March, just in case there's a first reading at any of the boards, because ultimately the deadline that we would be up against is April 17th. That's the submission deadline for the core program for statement of interests across the state. Following the submission in April, MSBA undertakes their due diligence period. They look very closely at everything that is submitted in the statement of interests. Obviously they get a number of these through many communities across the state. Some large communities submit multiple at a time. Very likely that they visit the school during the due diligence period, and they're continuing to collect their information. At the end of 2026 is when they formally make their decisions at a MSBA board meeting, and there's a formal invitation to enter the eligibility period for the schools that they select. They do not select every school. They look at it and what are the neediest schools, which communities are in a position to execute these, and they select communities from all the applicants. And then into 27, the first half of 27 is when the eligibility periods commence. From what we could find, they stagger them. I'm not positive why, but they vote some schools for their eligibility period to start in March, and then the first of each month through July. That's what they did in 25. The 25 statement of interest, 26, the eligibility periods actually stagger through the first half of the year. So depending on when a eligibility period commences, you start a 270-day window for completing what they call Module 1. The MSBA process is a 9-module process to build a school. It's a very structured process, and Module 1 is really still very preliminary things where you're forming a school building committee, you're completing your educational profile, and authorizing local funding for feasibility and schematic design, not the authorization for the whole project. It's not understood what the project is or costs at that stage. But if you recall with the elementary school, the town authorized a significant portion of money for the feasibility study for that project years ahead of the actual project starting to be built. So I think this lays out that process pretty well in the timeline. And one thing that sort of stuck out to me when I put this together is how long this timeline is. And if you look at this, you know, we're sitting here, it's February 2026, and we're talking about starting a 270-day window in the first half of 27. That means 2 years from now, we would likely be like finishing the first module. And, you know, when we have the discussions, and we've been talking about the middle school for a year, and it's like, is the town ready? I think it's just important to like understand how long of a process this is, and how important it is to start at some point, because it's gonna take years. I think when we look back at the forming of the school building committee for the elementary school, it was remarkable, like how long ago that really was. And that stuck out to me with this slide, just, you know, how far away we really would be from spending truly significant money and executing a project. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the middle school. That's at the heart of this, and the conditions at the middle school. We've been trying to avoid making some of the same mistakes that were made with the elementary schools, where, you know, there wasn't enough done years ahead, and they were falling into disrepair. So we have done things at the middle school, and I think it's important to note that we're not neglecting the middle school. The town is not neglecting the middle school. We've put a new roof on in recent years. We've installed an entire new fire alarm system. Money has been put out for security upgrades. We have a brand new security vestibule when you walk to the front of the middle school that, you know, is a really great improvement. And the town has already invested money to design a new window project at the middle school, which we'll talk a little bit more and how that sort of interplays with this statement of interest process in a little bit. However, there's still many systems at the middle school that are in very poor condition, and we need to get on a track, whether it's a statement of interest or something else, to figure out replacement to avoid, frankly, catastrophic failures and undesirable situations. These are big systems that are going to take a long time to figure out and fix, and we can't ignore. We have to do something. And that's really what this conversation is about, is what is the path. And, you know, the most problematic systems that we deal with at the middle school, the mechanical HVAC systems, electrical and service and distribution, emergency electrical. The center picture here is a picture of the generator that serves the middle school as the backup for our emergency systems. If you're ever behind the elementary school, take a look at the generator for the elementary school. It's basically a building outside. It's massive. And this is a car engine from a car probably from the 1970s that's inside the boiler room that we are relying on for emergency situations and any backup power should there be an electric failure at the middle school. Similarly, I've put some pictures in here of functioning equipment at the middle school that we deal with. A boiler from likely the 1970s that runs this month almost every single day with the temperatures we're dealing with, supplying hot water to univents in classrooms that are either from the 1970s or the 1950s. We're still operating equipment in the building that is from the 1950s. That electrical distribution piece of gear there is from the 1970s edition as well, and is a critical component to our school. We have challenges weekly with the electrical conditions in the school. It is very challenging. We have classrooms today where half of the outlets aren't working. Part we had space heaters in a classroom because we couldn't get the heat over 60 degrees on the coldest days last week, and these problems sort of stack. And again, we're managing it, but it's a challenging situation that, you know, doesn't get easier year over year. Other systems, technology and security, you know, in need of significant improvement. Fire protection, I put it on here, but it's really to note that there is none. There is no sprinkler system in the building. Obviously, a building like that built today would certainly have a sprinkler system. Once we get into major repairs, we're going to have to put a sprinkler system in, and that's just going to be part of the equation. Accessibility, it's not a like horrible building from accessibility perspective, but it's not a good building either. The elevator is old. If you think of how you access the gym when you walk in the front door, it's almost ridiculous. You have to navigate around the entire building when every single other person is walking up a set of stairs from the side of the building. And the building envelope as well. Again, the windows, there's a couple sections of roof that weren't done last time, and building facade issues that we are looking at and will be dealing with. So that's just a snapshot of the middle school. So what are our options? Like what are the paths we can take as a community? So this is an infographic that lays it out. Really, we feel as though there's two paths, because the option of doing nothing really isn't a legitimate option. We have to choose a path to start, you know, dealing with the issues we have at the middle school. That's a responsibility we should all feel. Path one is this comprehensive MSBA renovation path that I laid out earlier. I didn't mention it before, you know, there's no guarantee that we are accepted into the statement of interest. And I think that's actually a reason to submit now. Like, if we're not selected, we want to know why, we want to get feedback from the MSBA, and we want to make our application stronger heading into future years. A couple notes about this path. Our reimbursement rate on the elementary school is just shy of 49%. That's of eligible costs. That's a really important note. Not every single cost that you incur on a school building project is eligible for reimbursement, but as the superintendent referenced earlier, when you do a renovation, there are more eligible costs because you have less site work, there's caps on site work with the MSBA formulas, and there's other areas that you reach certain caps with a new project and you're not getting the same amount of reimbursement that you're able to manage better. And ultimately, as a total percentage of your costs on a project, you will have a higher total reimbursement rate on a MSBA project because you have more eligible costs, not because the reimbursement rate itself is different. Another reason this could be a good option is, you know, it's a holistic modernization in a 5 to 7 year period. We're able to reconfigure educational spaces to support modern curriculum and updated interiors in the building. One concern about, you know, just addressing system by system all of these items that I pointed out earlier is many of those don't directly impact what you see when you walk in the front door, when you walk into a classroom, how things are situated, how they work in the rooms day in and day out. We could spend so much money and just fix these systems that we care a lot about, but, you know, we're not really impacting what is in the classrooms and making the finishes better and making the spaces better, that we will have that kind of an opportunity with a more holistic project. And, you know, with a comprehensive renovation, we'd be looking at a coordinated, lower disruption logistical situation. We would be working with professionals, OPMs, architectural firms, all of their expertise below them to coordinate a really well thought out project versus, you know, biting off project after project after project and impacting students for, you know, many years. We would be doing the projects for years. So on the, you know, the alternate scenario is sort of what I labeled the fragmented capital projects. And, you know, we can do this. I love construction projects. I'd be happy to implement these one after the next. I just think there's a real question of whether it is the prudent move for the town, you know, financially and just the right thing to do. And a big reason for that is those projects would be predominantly town-funded. Like, you're not gonna be getting the MSBA grant money, like we've described through the other path. There are some grants through MSBA. The one we would predominantly look at if we were to go this scenario would be the accelerated repair program, which would fund potentially a heat pump project, again, at a reimbursement rate. But, you know, most of the other systems that I was describing, we would be looking at improving through town capital over the course of years. And again, I think this would create disruption as we're just implementing project after project. You know, the scale of the projects that I've discussed, you wouldn't be able to do all of those just in summers. You would be looking at like impact to the school years potentially. And again, I pointed out earlier, the educational environment would potentially be unchanged. You know, we're fixing the heating, the heat's better, the electrical system works, there's a sprinkler system, but the building is essentially the same when you walk in the front door. So that is my brief presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and thank you.
Thank you, Max. Superintendent.
I was just going to say, I think it really hit me last year when the elementary school opened and we had convocation there. And then I came back as middle school principal to the middle school with the staff for our first meeting, and it was kind of like, sorry. This is, we have, you know, if you look at the roof, if, the ceiling in classrooms, if you look at the hallways, I mean, listen, we make it work. There's no bigger middle school supporter than I am, and I love it there, and I think, you know, it's an incredible school, and we do an amazing job. But when you look at those two options, and you look at what was done at the elementary school and what's possible, it is, to me, there's no choice. It's a no-brainer to go with scenario one. And as a taxpayer, I might say too, I feel the same way.
Suzanne.
Well, it's like, this is hard for me because, yes, of course, number one, I mean, we had these exact same arguments for Hadley and Clark and Stanley, and leaving kids in any group of kids at any point in a substandard space and still have inequities and all that stuff. So yes, obviously one. I mean, the timing is the biggest. The timing is the biggest thing. And to Max's point, it is 2 years from now to even sort of like get a building committee together if we got into this program. But the biggest hurdle is, I mean, the biggest disappointment would be to get in this program and not be able to fund it or not have it pass. Because the MSBA has already given us 2 bites at the apple, and this would be a tough one. Like if we were in a position where we got through feasibility and then it didn't pass a vote for the town-wide funding, or if or if for some reason the town couldn't figure out a way to fund this without, you know, whatever. So I think that this discussion, I think it's a no-brainer from a school committee vote that this is what we want. But I think it's up to the business administrator and the superintendent to have real discussions with the town financial committees and finance members in town hall, because I've said it 1,000 times, this school wouldn't have been built if Sean Fitzgerald hadn't sort of done what he had done about lowering the taxes for residents and you know, making it a priority to pass this and make this an attractive project for the town. So this would have to sort of be the same. So I think that, you know, I would vote for option 1 in a heartbeat, but I think that you need to be really realistic about if the town is ready to, it has the financial capacity. And we know times are tough right now, but I mean, I just think that that's a really important decision, because we cannot afford to get into this program and not follow through. Just, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Suzanne. John?
Yeah, everything Suzanne said, completely agree with. Makes a lot of sense. Scenario one, yeah, the superintendent's right, it's a no-brainer. That would be the right path. You know, one thing that I picked up that, that Max had pointed out, you know, it's a long, there's a very long tail on this thing, so, you know, we could be 2 years from now, maybe the budgetary and economic environment isn't as harsh as it is right now. Maybe, you know, people will be more open to doing something. I think, you know, we have to maybe think optimistically, and if it's not, then it's not. But, and if we're turned down, again, Max, to your point, you know, kind of learn what we didn't include or should have included, and see if there's an appetite to do it again. But, you know, I agree with you and the superintendent that, you know, waiting till the building falls over is really not, you know, the best course here. And in scenario two, just, you're right. Who wants to sink that amount of money and you don't even see it, you know? It's, you know, doesn't seem like the best pathway, so those are my thoughts.
Thank you, John. Miguel?
Yeah, I agree that scenario one is definitely the one that we would want to do, and listing out all of the issues there. As one of the people that worked on the PTO there at the middle school for a while, can definitely tell you that the heat is definitely an issue in some areas where it's cold. In others, highly recommend people book meetings there and experience it and explore the halls there as well and see how the classrooms are laid out, since there are definitely some difficulties in getting around in areas, and the gym is definitely one of them, where you are literally walking the whole building just to get to the gym if you're in a wheelchair, or if you tore your knee and you're on one of those little scooters, just because of 3 steps. So I know the town has definitely, as a whole, has not been very open about wanting new buildings or schools or renovation things, since I know the elementary school took a while, but I definitely feel like at some point something is going to give at the middle school, and then we're looking at emergency funds, which is never a good thing. And as Max pointed out, like, this is to submit the application and hopefully here next year, and then maybe in 2 years be able to kind of start something. So we're not asking for all of the money up front or anything like that. So I definitely agree that scenario one is the one that we would want to do, just to be fiscally responsible.
Great, thank you. I definitely want to completely agree with Suzanne. As someone who tried to get the new building done the first time, we didn't have the ducks in a row. We were close, but we didn't have what Suzanne's group, and she's 100% right about what happened to make it possible. As someone who's probably the only person in here who actually went to Alashot Junior High School and stayed there through the high school, it was a pit then, and it's even worse now. But, so I think from a school committee point of view, I absolutely think it's a no-brainer. I would absolutely agree with Suzanne that, you know, Cheryl, Superintendent, Max, you want to really work with the finance folks to see if this is the time to even start this. And yes, it's years and years away, and I understand that. I think it's a smart thing to do. I'm wholeheartedly for number one. You just rip the Band-Aid and you do it. So I think it's an interesting first step. I wish you guys the absolute best of luck into all this. So, can someone please make a motion to accept the statement of interest?
We don't really have a,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, how do we?
we don't really have a vote on here.
We actually were just presenting this as a
Okay.
preliminary.
right,
The
thank
vote language is laid out by MSBA. We were not anticipating a vote tonight. We just
Okay.
wanted to sort of take the temperature.
Great, all right.
Let you know about the process, and, you know,
Okay.
likely return with a more formal vote.
Perfect, thank you, Suzanne. then we look forward to that formal presentation.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Any subcommittee discussions going on? Nothing.
No.
Okay. Actions and votes.
Can we, can I make a motion to do this as a consent agenda? Oh, no. Can I? Yeah, can we make a motion to vote the actions? Well, I was gonna just make it consent agenda to vote all the actions and votes together, and just have you read through the donations, because I don't imagine us voting no on any of the donations, but
Absolutely.
if you guys want to separate any of those donations out for discussion, we can, but otherwise, I make a motion to put those all together and vote them at once.
Can someone second that, please?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
So that means there's no discussions on them, but you can read what they are.
Right,
We
great.
just won't discuss what they are. I mean, the
Okay.
first two we've already done,
Great.
so just the donations.
All right. So we have we have a few donations, actually. Let me go to my little
No, there's
donation
5.
page here. Thank you. The first is, oops, put that over there. Put that over there. The first donation that I have is from Sheila O'Neill. Sheila lives in Swampscott, and Sheila's making a $100 donation to the Swampscott High School Robotics Club. To Miss O'Neill, thank you very much. Very generous of you. We really appreciate that. And I know the Robotics Club will be ecstatic with extra funding. Thank you. Next, we have the name of the donor is the Swampscott Education Association, the SEA, and
SEF.
SEF.
Foundation.
Oh, sorry.
It says FES on the
Yes. that's-
agenda, but it says SEA on
So who
the,
is, can we, I want to,
It's the SEF, that's the, so
okay.
that's a mistake on that.
Do we need to accept this then tonight?
Nope, we can wait.
no, so now we have to pull that.
Yeah, we do have to wait.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And Suzanne, why don't you read the next one? There you go.
No, I just, Spelios family is donating $15,000 to a whole bunch of different programs at, they all look like they're at the high school. Band, chorus, drama, EA Sports, Film and TV, Gender and Sexual Alliance, Ham Radio Club, Model UN, Robotics, Media Arts Department, Students of Color Alliance, Unified Discovery Club, that's under Emily Borden, Women in STEM, Chorus and Band, Drama Club at the middle school, Genders and Sexual Alliance at the middle school as well. Thank you, generous Spelioses.
Wow, that is amazing. That is so great. Thank you so much, Peter and Rebecca. That is an incredibly generous donation. Thank you very much. The next is a donation from General Electric, Aerospace, for $3,000. And this will be for the robotics team. It's a competition grant. It's unrestricted funds for robotics. Again, that's $3,000 from GE Aerospace in Lynn. Again, thank you so much. That is just incredibly, incredibly generous of you. Every dollar will be used for the purposes of robotics, so thank you very much to GE Aerospace. Thank you. Keeping with the robotics theme, the Olson family, also of Swampscott, has donated $610.86 to First Robotics Parts, and they'll be used for a 2026 robot, and that would be great. It'd be kind of cool to see, actually. Thank you very much to the Olson family. It's an incredibly generous donation, and again, robotics is an expensive endeavor at the school, but it's very, very important for those students who participate in that. So, thank you very much. We have, the donor is Ralph Edwards, also from Swampscott. The donation is $200 and is for 2 $100 gift cards to local restaurants, and it is for the Film and TV Club. So thank you very much, Mr. Edwards, and I know that Mr. Gillette will put that to good use. And I think that is all the donations. Thank you.
So can I make an amendment to my motion?
Absolutely.
I want to keep my same motion, but I want to remove item D from the consent agenda.
Great, thank you. Can someone second that, please?
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So with that, we are now on to the consent agenda.
Wait, this consent agenda.
This consent agenda,
The first one.
the first one.
Make a vote. I make a motion to pass the actions and vote consent agenda.
Second.
As A, B, C, E, F, G, H.
All right, thank you. Can someone second, please?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. Now on the regular consent agenda. Thank you, Suzanne. That made a lot of sense. Thank you for doing that. The consent agenda is designed to expedite the handling of routine and miscellaneous business of the district. The school committee may adopt the entire consent agenda with one motion at the request of any committee member or members. Any item or items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for discussion. We have one item on the consent agenda, that is regular session minutes from January 22nd, 2026. Can someone make a motion to accept those minutes?
Make a motion to accept the regular session minutes.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, any other discussion about any other topic?
Just a quick comment, since we didn't make comments on the consent agenda. I think those donations are all really generous, but I think it's really important that people understand that donations aren't part of our operation budget. And especially these donations, they're going to clubs and activities, which is what students generally pay for. So I just want to make that differentiation, like we didn't just pull in $20,000 for our operating budget. It's really just benefits the kids and the advisors and clubs. Just want to say.
Thank you. Sasha?
I also have a comment. It's about the donations. The robotics team has been working really, really hard for the competition. I think it's in March. Mr. Wildman, Mr. Crocker, and Miss Marshall are all working with the students to help start to plan and build their robots. So wishing a special good luck to them soon, because I know the work is really, really hard, as Mr. Waldman explained it to me. And also I wanted to promote, we have a Black History Month event on the 24th. Cher and Soka are collaborating on it, and I think you all should attend. It's on the 24th.
Where is it?
Here at the high school, 5 p.m.
Great. Thank you. And that's on the 24th, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Anything else? Then, with that, can someone make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can someone second that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are out.